Hi friends, it's Lorraine with Rags to Stitches USA. Today is Tuesday, September 22nd, and I am back after a long spell. I'm sorry, I really have meant to get back before now, and I kept thinking, oh, tomorrow I need to make a video, and time has flown by. Has it been that way for y'all? This year has gone by so fast. I know it's been a strange year in so many ways, but I think time has gone faster this year than it ever has for me anyway. But I have been stitching some weeks more than others. Some weeks I have done good just to get in a couple of hours of stitching in the week, if that much. But then other weeks I've done a little bit more. So I've done a little bit. I know I've done a little bit since the last time I saw you, so I want to show you some of the things that I've been working on. This is Sampler September, and as you know, I love my samplers, so I've got a few that I want to show you. I am also a part of a sampler guild called the Sampler Guild of Georgia, and we were supposed to have been attending a retreat in March, this past March. And because of the whole coronavirus pandemic thing, we had to cancel our retreat. I am on the retreat committee, and so I had a small part in helping to get all of the goodies together for all of the retreat attendees. And so this weekend we started handing those out to folks, and we'll probably have to mail some to some people because there are some out-of-town, out-of-state people that come to our retreats. So at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing what the retreat attendees would have received. So if you are a part of the Sampler Guild of Georgia and would have been getting some of those goodies and you want to be surprised, I'll warn you at the end when I start to show those things so that you can just sign off and you can wait and be surprised. If you don't want to wait to be surprised, if you want to see what it is, then just stay tuned till the very end and I'll show you. So for the rest of you lovely people that would like to see some of the things that I've been stitching on in September, the first one that I want to show you is a sampler called the LW Motif Sampler by Samplers Not Forgotten. I know you've probably all seen this. This is a sampler that Carol Saltbox Stitcher had shown as a piece that she was working on while she was in the hospital with her daughter who had been diagnosed with colon cancer. And she had asked that if anyone were so inclined to stitch on this and pray for her daughter, she would appreciate it. Her daughter's name is Lindsay, and her maiden name started with a W, so this was really appropriate for her daughter. And I already had this in my stash to stitch, and so I thought that was a great time for me to start. I was praying for Carol's daughter. Around that same time, my cousin had been diagnosed with liver cancer, and so this became my prayer piece. Not long after that, a friend was diagnosed with cancer, and then another stitchy friend was diagnosed with cancer, and a friend's husband. It seemed like when I started stitching on this, so many of my friends just happened to be diagnosed at the same time, friends and loved ones. So this has truly been an act of love, a stitch of love. And so every time I stitch on this, I am stitching for my friends, for my family. I had originally thought that I would put their initials just somewhere in the sampler, all the people that I'm praying for. But honestly, my list has gotten so long, I don't have room in the sampler to put everyone's initials. So I will be writing their names on the back of all the people that I was praying for while I was stitching this sampler. I think I may have shown this one other time. I know I put a picture out. I don't remember if it was on Instagram or on Facebook, but I had posted a picture because I wasn't sure about the thread colors. I'm not using the called for fabric, and I can't remember the name of the fabric that I am using, but it's suddenly gotten darker, hasn't it? what was I saying? Oh, the fabric that I'm using, I don't think it's I know it's not the called for fabric, but I am using the called for flosses. And so some of the flosses kind of got lost on the fabric. It kind of made ghost letters, as Carol would call them. And so I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue. At that time, I started in the middle. And so these numbers were very pale. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue on with that or if I wanted to change those out. And so when I put the question out there, one of the people that responded was one of the people that I'm praying for as I stitch on this piece. And she said she loved it just the way it was. And that's all I needed to hear. So I'm leaving it just the way it is. And I'm getting close to a finish here. I don't need much more here. I have another large flower that that goes right here, I think. And I don't think I've finished this flower yet. So I've got a little bit more to go on this, but I'm not in a hurry to finish it. As a matter of fact, I have slowed it down and I don't stitch on it near as quickly as I once was because I'm enjoying it so much. So this is my LW motif sampler. I would say I hope the next time I make a video that I'll have it finished, but like I say, I'm not in a hurry to have it finished. I'm really enjoying this piece. So when I started this video, it was nice and bright in here, and now it's not so bright. Let me see if I can turn this up just a little bit. I don't know if that helps. It just washes me out. I don't know if you can see all this that's going on the video. Anyway, the next one that I will show you, oh my goodness, it's a story. It's kind of a tragic story, but it has a happy ending, I suppose. I started stitching with Lynette and Amy, and I know there were others, and was Donna Ray in this stitch along? I can't remember. We were stitching on A Savior's Praise by Shakespeare's Peddler, and we were going to start this on Easter Sunday, which I did. I started mine on Easter Sunday, and I was stitching on a piece of linen that I had bought when I went to market last year, and it was from a vendor that I had not bought from before, and I won't name them, and you'll see why in a minute. I loved the piece of linen. It was really pretty. It had a lot of golds and grays, and I just thought the colors were really pretty in it. I think it's showing up fairly true here. The colors are. So I loved the grays in it. I loved the golds in it. I thought it would go really well with the colors that it called for. I'm here again, I'm using the called for colors. I am using the DMCs. And so I had stolen Lynette's idea, and here in this urn, instead of flowers in the urn, I changed it to crosses. Since we had started it on Easter Sunday, this is what it had called for. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I changed mine to crosses, and I had gotten all the way from one corner to the other corner, and started my way down. And so one day at a stitchy meetup, I was showing my progress to the girls, and I don't know, for some reason I just kind of ran my finger down, and as I did, my thumb went through my linen. I mean, my thumb didn't go through the linen. My thumb found a hole in my linen that was already there, and I had no idea that that hole was in this linen. And my heart fell to my stomach. I don't know that if you can tell how large a hole that is, but that's a substantial hole. One that I just didn't see how I could repair it. I did throw out a question here again on Instagram or Facebook or something, asking for ideas of what I should do. And the overwhelming response was that I just needed to start over. I had thought about like pulling some threads and reweaving. well, there's such a glare on these two pictures, but I have 3 samplers here that it's heart anger work, and it's pulled and thread and drawn. I just didn't think I could do that on this piece. I just didn't think I could. So I kind of measured, and I think if I do it just right, I will have enough room if I flip this over and start again. I don't want to rip all this out, but I think if I flip it over and start on this other end, I will have enough room to start over. And so that's what I have done. I am only allowing myself about a 2-inch border on each, up and down and on the side, about a 2-inch border. Now, as you can see, this fabric is cut very wonky. And so I pulled a thread just so I could see how much room I had to work with. And yeah, as you can see, it's cut real wonky. But I think by starting here, I think I'm going to end up right about in here somewhere. And the hole in my linen is right here. So I think that's going to give me just about 2 inches on this side of the hole, so that I think it's going to work. I'm plowing forward. And I was whining about having to start over. Now, thankfully, I didn't have a whole lot of stitches in it, although it may not look like it, but that's a considerable amount of stitches. This is 36 count linen, and that was a considerable amount of stitches just to toss and start over again. But start over again I did. And when I was whining about it, my husband said, well, don't you consider yourself a process stitcher? And I said, I am. And he said, well, you always say that you just enjoy the journey, so enjoy the journey. Start over again. And I thought that was pretty wise. So that's what I have done. So I have started over again in the corner. Don't have a huge start, but there is my start. And I will be stitching on that a little bit more in Saturday's September sampler. September sampler. Yeah. So that's the second one that I was working on. The third one that I worked on, I know I have shown it before, is the Strawberry Sampler by the City Stitcher. And this is one that I am doing a stitch along with Sharon Worm. Here we go. This is my working copy here. This is an old one. I think this is from 1996 maybe. And it has a lot of specialty stitches. That entire house, except for the windows and the mortar in the bricks, is all satin stitches. All the bricks are satin stitches. I think the roof is going to be a satin stitch. All of this grass is a satin stitch. And I've talked about that before on previous videos, how I'm doing the satin stitch with 3 threads, and I stitch in hand. So that's been very challenging for me to get the 3 threads to lie straight while stitching in hand. But I was showing it to my daughter, and how I said, you know, I had considered just cross stitching the bricks, and my daughter said, oh, but Mom, it's so pretty with the satin stitches. So, you know, here again, so here I plow through, because this will probably be hers or one of her brothers one day anyway. So I want her to like it. So I did the entire border, which is just a tiny little border, as you can see. And I am 1 stitch off, just 1. Not side to side, but up and down, just 1. And it's a very simple border. So I never could find out where that 1 stitch is, and this is so out of character for me, but I just said, oh well, I'm 1 off, no big deal. So that's where I am. As you can see, the satin stitches there in the grass, the satin stitches, I don't know if you can see the satin stitches in the bricks, but it really is going to be, I think it's going to be quite lovely when it's finished. It's just not my favorite thing to stitch on, but This is going to be my daily 30 piece that I focus on, just 30 minutes a day, because it just does take so long to do each satin stitch. So I'll work on it for 30 minutes a day and I'll put it aside and work on it 30 minutes the next day. So then my last sampler that I've kind of been focusing on this month, and this will be my focus piece for the rest of this month and probably on into next month, because this is my journey piece for my guild. And I had contracted with myself to finish half of this by this time next month. So I'm plugging along on it. Oh, did I say what it is? This is, his eye is on the sparrow. And I know you've all seen this, but I'll show you the cover anyway. And so I'm working on the bottom half. And I have the, I finished the tree. I just noticed that my thread is dangling here. Let me get my needle put away before I lose it. Okay. So I made my way, this is the halfway point of the border on the right hand side. I need to put in the flowers, but this is how far up it needs to go. So as you can see, I have some of the animals done that are above the halfway mark. So if I get everything done below those guys, I'll be ahead of the game. I am working my way across, I can't see where, and I have started, I've rounded the curve and I'm coming up now. So I have a few, quite a few motifs here to fill in now that I've got my boundaries marked. So I've got a ways to go, considering I have to get this done in a month. So I will be focusing on this piece heavily. This may be my only piece that I concentrate on from now on until this time next month. I have to have it halfway finished by the 3rd Sunday in October. So I can do it. I know I can. I really do enjoy working on it. So it has been a lot of fun. Okay, so that is primarily what I've been working on in September. I am going to say so long to those of you that don't want to see my little goodie bag from our Sampler Guild's retreat. If you would like to keep watching, feel free. If you are a Sampler Guild member and you don't want to be if you want to be surprised and you don't want a little sneak peek, then go ahead and turn the video off now, and thanks for watching. And for anyone else that wants to sign off, thank you so much for sticking with me for this long, and hopefully I will be seeing you much sooner than the span between the last video and now. I hope to make another video a lot sooner than this. Okay, last warning. Sign off, guys, if you don't want to be surprised. Okay, so as I mentioned, I am on the retreat committee with Cheryl. Cheryl headed up our retreat committee this year. And we were supposed to have met in Helen, Georgia for a retreat in March. And we had 50 some odd girls that were going to be attending. And we make this a low cost retreat so that as many people that would like to can attend. So this year I think the retreat only costs like $50 to attend. But we want to make sure that everyone feels pampered and enjoys a few goodies for their money. So we had a theme this year. It was called Camp Bluebird because stitching is our bluebird of happiness. And so one of the retreat committee members, Amy, has a silhouette or a cricket or something like that. And so she created this little vinyl to go on the front of these stitching bags, and I just think they're so cute. So this was our Camp Bluebird, and Cheryl even put a little Bluebird zipper pull here. I can't. There we go. Bluebird zipper pull. Really sweet. So all of the goodies that we handed out were inside this little bag. This is, I think it's the 3rd year that Cheryl has had someone create a camp badge for us, because, you know, what camp is complete without a camp badge? So this is the badge that she created for this year. I thought that was really sweet. Okay, and so inside the bag is a little box, and I'll show you the box at the end, but inside the box there were several little goodies. One of the little goodies was a little needle threader. We got these, I think we got these from Fat Quarter Shop. When shops order these, they usually come in 3 different colors, but we only wanted the blue ones. So we were able to get only blue ones from Fat Quarter Shop. So that was a fun little goodie. We also got a little needle minder from Zappy Dots with a little bluebird on it. I think this may be taken from one of Brenda Gervais' samplers. I'm not sure, but I love that. Zappy Dots also sent some little goodies for us to give away, like as door prize drawings. And since we didn't have the retreat and didn't have the drawings, we will save those for next year's retreat. Several of us got together, many days we got together and worked on items for prizes. And one of the things that we worked on was a little scissor fob. And so some of the girls had buttons from their own collection that they contributed. We just had a big pile of buttons, and we all sat around and strung buttons together to create this little scissor fob. Isn't that sweet? So these were fun to create. And no 2 are alike, because we used old buttons, we used new buttons. Some are longer, some are shorter, some are bigger. But this was a lot of fun. This was sweet. And so we also had to give you a pair of scissors. To put your scissor fob on. So we have these sweet little scissors. Caroline took some fabric that we had at the shop and photocopied. The fabric had bluebirds on it, and so she photocopied the fabric, kind of like Barb and Alma do with some of their charts. They photocopied the chart, and then they use that in some of their finishing. And so that's what Caroline did. She photocopied the fabric, and then she used this photocopy to create this little needle case. And so she just glued the paper around the needle case, and there's a needle inside. But that was such a sweet little touch. And then she also made little origami ort holder, little paper origami. Here we go. Isn't that cute? And so it just folds up and goes inside your project bag, and you have a little ort container everywhere you go. And then it just folds right back. Sweet. That Caroline is so creative. We also had several, well, I think all of us had some of these in our possession, and so lots of us had these little salt cellars, or salt, what did Cheryl call them? Salt, what did she call that? I can't remember what she called it. I call it salt cellars anyway. All different kinds, you know, they're vintage. And so we created these little pin cushions to go inside those with the little antique buttons and some lace trims. And here again, no 2 are alike. I'm not getting a good picture of that, but there's some lace trim on there. So we created one of these for each person. We didn't have quite enough for everybody, so we were going on eBay, and I think at one point we were even bidding on the same batch. We were kind of outbidding each other. So anyway, this was fun. Sweet little pin cushion. And then Cheryl ordered these little bird button. They're not buttons. I don't even know what they were called, but I think they were handmade. She ordered them from someone from, were they Canada or Australia? I can't remember. It was another country. And so she ordered these, and we created little counting pins. Here again, went great with our theme. They can go in our little pin cushion here. And then the last, nope, not the last thing. So Jeanette Douglas has a chart. It's called Sew Together. This is number 3, scissors and threads. And that went so well with our theme. And so when it's finished, I don't have the dimensions right here in front of me, but when it's finished, it's just kind of a small rectangle. We gave the linen and the thread. Amy created these little thread cards. And so when it's finished, it will fit inside this sweet little box that Doris's husband made for us. Isn't that fantastic? I just love it. I love it. And so this little piece of paper that Caroline copied from the fabric, you can cut that out and glue it inside, or Mod Podge, and put it inside. And then this little chart, once it's finished, it will fit on one side. Isn't that sweet? And you can put all your little, you know, all your little goodies inside there. And I love it. I think Cheryl did a great job of putting all this together, and I had a great time working on all of these things with the girls in the retreat committee. It was a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again this year. Lord willing, we'll be able to get together this year, and we're shooting for March again. So we're hoping to be able to do that again. So I hope you girls have been able to get together with some of your friends, even if it's just virtually and with Zoom or with FaceTime, and have some stitchy time with some of your friends, and maybe things will get back to normal sooner rather than later. I hope to be back sooner rather than later with another Flosstube video. It was so good to visit with you again, and I look forward to doing it again soon. So until next time, happy stitching.